You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. This podcast is brought to you by Stratum Aesthetics. Head to stratumaesthetics.com to find curated skincare, body care, and other wellness products hand-selected by me. Now enjoy the show. Please remember that the information I share in this podcast is based on my personal and professional experience and is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not individualized skincare advice, nor is it medical advice. I encourage you to take charge of your own health decisions and listen to your body, seeking out the resources and professionals that best support your wellness journey. Welcome back to the podcast. It's March, the season of renewal, fresh starts, the return of all things green. I'm definitely starting to see little baby green pop-ups in my garden and along my morning walks. I'm so excited about it. And what better way to embrace that than with one of the most vibrant, most verdant skin foods out there, which is matcha. And matcha is a centuries-old ritual. It's a skin-nourishing powerhouse, a daily practice that can bring both energy and calm at the same time. But not all matcha is created equal. And today, I just want to talk about that and what makes it so great. And then also, I want to talk about how to shop for the best quality matcha powder. But before I get into the episode, I do want to share something that I use every single day, which is the Unburden serum from Laurel. This is not just another serum. It's like nervous system support for your skin. It's packed with whole plant extracts like blue chamomile and calendula to calm inflammation. It has tamanu oil and pomegranate seed oil, which deeply nourish and restore your skin barrier. And this is for skin that is red, inflamed, or maybe it just needs a little love and nourishment. I myself am a sensitive skin girly. I'm not always red, but I do love the Unburden serum just for that love that my skin needs. The first time I put it on, I was like, oh, there you are. It was this beautiful, grounding, nostalgic scent because it's only relying on the scent of the plant oils. It's so lovely. So if you want to experience this for yourself, you can find it in my online shop at stratumaesthetics.com. And now let's get into the episode. All right, if you've ever been intrigued by that vibrant green powder but weren't sure why it's so hyped, or if you already drink matcha but want to understand exactly what it's doing for your skin, this episode is for you. I want to cover everything from how matcha supports your skin internally, why it's different from regular green tea, how to use matcha topically for glowing skin, how to buy matcha because a lot of what's sold is really low quality junk. I want you to walk away from this episode feeling like you understand exactly why matcha is incredible for skin health and how to use it properly. So grab a cup of whatever you're drinking and settle in and let's talk about matcha. What makes matcha different from regular green tea? I talk a lot about herbal tea, but tea snobs will tell you herbal tea is not tea. True tea comes from the plant Camellia sinensis. So this is the plant that black tea, white tea, oolong tea, pu'er, matcha, green tea, all of these teas come from this specific plant. And herbal tea may include tea leaves from this plant. But often when I'm preparing herbal tea, it's like dandelion root or linden or whatever. And so I'm not often including true tea into my herbal teas. This is like a whole separate category of its own. And so within this true tea category, we've got green tea, we've got matcha. And with regular green tea, you're steeping the leaves in water and then discarding those leaves. However, with matcha, you're consuming the entire tea leaf in powdered form, which means you're getting way more antioxidants, amino acids, chlorophyll. And so the difference is green tea is like an infusion. The water is pulling the compounds out of the leaf. And then matcha is a suspension of the powder in the water. So the tea particles are dispersed in this liquid. They're not dissolving. They're just suspending that powder in the water, which is why it settles over time and it needs to be whisked and stirred again if you've let your cup sitting. And then matcha is also shade grown. So the tea leaves are covered for the last 3 to 4 weeks before harvest, which forces them to produce more chlorophyll, L-theanine, more antioxidants, whereas regular green tea is grown in full sun, which results in a different chemical composition and a little bit more astringent taste. And this is why good matcha is this intense, vibrant green and why it has more skin benefits than the standard green tea. And this kind of ties into last week's episode where I talked about the skin-liver connection. The chlorophyll, the enhanced chlorophyll in matcha helps the liver process toxins more efficiently, reducing the burden on the skin as an elimination organ. So that's just a really cool little nod to last week and why matcha is actually really supportive to the liver. And then matcha also has more antioxidants, like I said. It has up to 137 times more EGCG than regular green tea, which is this powerhouse antioxidant that fights oxidative stress, which is huge for skin health, for healthy aging. It also helps to reduce inflammation. And regular green tea does contain EGCG, but just at lower concentrations. Matcha has about 35 to 70 milligrams of caffeine per serving, depending on the grade and, of course, the amount used. And regular green tea has about 30 to 50 milligrams per cup. So matcha has a slightly stronger caffeine content. But because of the L-theanine, matcha releases caffeine more slowly than regular green tea does. So it prevents those like spikes and crashes with the caffeine. And you know, I'm a history lover. I always want to think about where things came from. And matcha's story goes way beyond like trendy lattes and Instagram aesthetics. It's actually steeped in centuries of tradition, in meditation, in meticulous craftsmanship. And it all started in China during the Tang Dynasty. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, maybe not. But during this time, tea leaves were steamed and formed into bricks for easy transport and trade. And Buddhist monks started to refine the practice by stone grinding the leaves into a fine powder to whisk into hot water, which is what created the earliest form of matcha. And this practice made its way to Japan in the 12th century, where Buddhist monks started embracing matcha for its ability to enhance both alertness and calm, which is a perfect companion for long hours of meditation. So over time, matcha became woven into Japanese culture, evolving into the elaborate tea ceremony that exists today, where every movement, every sip is an act of mindfulness. And what's incredible is that the same qualities that made matcha sacred to monks, its ability to sharpen focus, regulate stress, support longevity, are exactly what makes it so beneficial for our skin health today. And I thought this was so interesting because I go to 5:30 a.m. yoga on Tuesdays, and it's early. I'm leaving my house at like 10 to 5 in the morning, and I love drinking matcha at this time right before yoga. And I've never really thought about it until I started looking into the history of matcha, and it just makes so much sense why it feels so good for that activity in the morning. And what's incredible is that these same qualities that make matcha so sacred to monks, like its ability to sharpen focus, regulate stress, support longevity, are exactly what make it so beneficial for our skin health. So the reason why matcha is a skin superfood is, number one, it just floods your skin with antioxidants. It's one of the most antioxidant dense foods on the planet, thanks to that polyphenol called EGCG. If you're somebody who is worried about collagen breakdown or sun damage or dullness, or really just your overall skin resilience, matcha is a really easy way to boost your skin's natural defense system because of this antioxidant ECGC. Matcha also helps to balance cortisol, and as we know, high cortisol can lead to breakouts or redness or just overall inflammation. But the L-theanine, which is an amino acid present in matcha, helps to promote a calm, focused state without drowsiness. This is a really good alternative to coffee if you're finding that coffee or other caffeinated beverages are raising your cortisol. As I said earlier, matcha supports our liver. Our liver is one of our body's main detox pathways, and when it's overburdened, our skin may start to show that, especially with like hormonal breakouts or congestion, blackheads, things like this. But the chlorophyll in matcha helps to gently support liver detox, which can improve our skin's clarity over time. Matcha also stabilizes blood sugar, which can prevent both breakouts and something called glycation. So blood sugar spikes lead to glycation, which is a process where excess sugar damages our collagen, which can lead to wrinkles and excess sagging of our skin. But matcha actually helps to prevent blood sugar spikes, making it great for both acne-prone skin and aging gracefully. And matcha is not explicitly a core herb in traditional Chinese medicine, but it is recognized within the framework of TCM. So in traditional Chinese medicine, as with basically every herbal or medicine practice throughout history, aside from modern Western medicine, every food and herb carries what's known as an energetic property. And this is kind of just like how this herb or food interacts with the body. So matcha has its vibrant green color. It's slightly bitter. It's considered cooling and detoxifying in traditional Chinese medicine. And this makes it perfect for calming excess heat or inflammation in the body. So if you're someone who struggles with inflammation, redness, breakouts, matcha can help bring things back into balance. In traditional Chinese medicine, the bitter flavor is linked to the heart and small intestine meridians, and both of these play a role in circulation and detoxification. So matcha is not just that caffeine fix, it's supporting your body's natural ability to cleanse and regulate. And obviously, in all things, balance is key. So if you run cold, if you have weak digestion, if you tend to feel ungrounded, matcha might not be your everyday go-to from the lens of traditional Chinese medicine. But if you love it, you might pair it with warming spices like cinnamon or ginger to help harmonize those cooling effects. This will make it a little bit more nourishing for constitutions that tend to run cold. So those are kind of all of its internal benefits, why I love it as what I call a skin food. And when I say skin food, I'm talking about real whole foods that directly nourish your skin from the inside out. Just like certain foods can drain and inflame the skin, like processed sugars or overly refined oils, there are foods that actively support skin resilience, hydration, glow. These are foods that are rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, minerals that help you function at your best. I share skin food meals on my Instagram all the time because eating for your skin isn't about restriction. It's all about abundance. It's all about choosing foods that fuel your skin with what it actually needs to stay healthy. And I feel like a lot of times, or at least in the past, maybe I think the tides are turning a little bit, but a lot of times when people are talking about like eating for skin health, they're like, no gluten, no dairy, like restriction. And I kind of like to turn that idea on its head because there's so many foods that are supportive to our skin. I have a whole module in my program, Reclaim Your Radiance, which is my lifestyle foundations for healthy skin, that talks about skin food and what to look for in a skin food. But matcha is a perfect example of this. And then I also love matcha for topical use because it's one of those rare ingredients that feels both deeply soothing and then also incredibly potent at the same time. I think it's appropriate for pretty much any skin condition. Again, it's packed with antioxidants like that EGCG, which help to combat oxidative stress. Oxidative stress shows up on the skin as hyperpigmentation, as wrinkles, fine lines, dullness. It also helps to calm inflammation and protect the skin from environmental damage. But what makes it really special is its ability to work on multiple levels. It's naturally antibacterial, which makes it great for breakouts, but it's also deeply calming, which makes it perfect for sensitive and irritated skin. I often say acne is a symptom of sensitive skin. It's a barrier disruption. So I think this is perfect here. And there's something about matcha that just feels so alive. It's that bright, vibrant energy. And when I mix it into a mask, I almost feel the skin just drinking it in. It's so cooling and nourishing, and it brings that same ritualistic energy to skincare that it does to drinking it. So whether I'm mixing it with honey for a hydrating treatment or blending it with yogurt for a gentle exfoliation, matcha is one of those ingredients that always leaves skin looking calmer, clearer, more balanced. And I wanted to share one of my favorite DIY recipes for the skin. I did do an episode called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of DIY Skincare. That was episode number 36, where you can listen to my thoughts on DIY skincare. But I think in some situations it can be amazing. And one of those situations is matcha with colloidal oatmeal and Greek yogurt. So you do a half teaspoon of high quality matcha. We're going to talk about how to shop for matcha next, but ceremonial grade is actually better when you're applying it topically. This will reduce the possibility of it staining your skin. Obviously, you do not want to stain your skin green. With this recipe, with the addition of the colloidal oatmeal, I have not had this be a situation, but just know it is possible, especially if you're extremely fair. Maybe do a test patch on the inside of your wrist or on your neck where it's maybe inconspicuous before you put this on your face. Also, leave it on for like 8 minutes instead of 10 or 12 minutes if you're really worried about that. So we do a half teaspoon of ceremonial grade matcha, 1 teaspoon of colloidal oatmeal. You can purchase online organic colloidal oatmeal. This is just a very fine ground oatmeal, and then 1 teaspoon of Greek yogurt. Mix it together into a smooth paste and then apply a thin layer to clean, damp skin and leave it on for like 8 to 12 minutes and then rinse off gently with warm water. And oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. This is such a soothing mask, but also gently exfoliating with the Greek yogurt. As far as how often to do it, I'm like a once a week mask kind of girl, like a Saturday night self-care situation. So with all of that being said, let's talk about how to buy high quality matcha because there's a lot of junk out there. So let's talk about what to look for when buying matcha. The first thing is you want it to be organic. Tea, that true tea plant that we talked about, is highly sprayed with pesticides, which is poison meant to destroy life. And it's not what you want in a cup of tea that's supposed to be healing. Next is the grade. Matcha is categorized into different grades based on the quality, the texture, and the flavor, and then the intended use. So the first grade is ceremonial grade. This is the highest quality matcha. This is the one that's traditionally used in Japanese tea ceremonies. This is made from the youngest, most delicate tea leaves. It's bright, vibrant green. It's got that high chlorophyll content. And ceremonial grade matcha is smooth and kind of naturally sweet. It has like this umami flavor. It's never bitter. It is the most expensive due to the labor-intensive cultivation and processing. And this one is best for drinking straight, just like whisking it with water. It's not as ideal for lattes because milk can overpower its delicate flavor. Next is premium grade. So this is high quality, but it's a little less delicate than the ceremonial grade. The leaves are a mix of younger and slightly older tea leaves, and it's still got that vibrant green powder, but it may be slightly less intense than the ceremonial grade matcha. It's got a smooth flavor, very mild bitterness. And this one is better for being used in lattes. Next is culinary grade. This is a little bit more bitter. It's made from older, more mature leaves. It has a little bit duller of a green color, sometimes leaning towards like a yellow green. The culinary grade is higher in tannins and lower in L-theanine, which means it's going to have a more astringent taste to it. So this is amazing for cooking, baking. It's not great for drinking it straight, but you could do it in like a matcha smoothie or baked goods like matcha cookies because the bitterness is going to be a little bit more balanced with other ingredients. So ceremonial grade is personally my favorite because it is so delicate and I do like to drink it straight. The next thing that you want to look for is that it's Japanese grown. And this is because in Japan, they take so much care of the matcha because it is so sacred. It's generally not going to be sprayed with pesticides in Japan, and there's more regulations for growing matcha there than there are in China. The next thing is the shade. So the longer the tea is grown in the shade, the higher the antioxidant value. So we want to look for that vibrant green color. I say this with any like supplement that you're going to buy. You want transparent testing. Companies should share their tests for heavy metals and radiation. And this is because green tea is a bioaccumulator, which means it's great at absorbing whatever's in the soil, including beneficial minerals, but also harmful toxins like lead, arsenic. And if the farm is near industrial pollution or contaminated soils, these toxins end up in the matcha. And matcha specifically, remember, we're drinking that whole leaf in a suspension rather than just a infusion like the green tea. So any contaminants in the leaves like heavy metals or pesticides or radiation are going directly into your body. And the reason I'm talking about radiation concerns is after the Fukushima nuclear disaster in 2011, there were a lot of concerns about radiation contamination in Japanese grown teas. And most reputable farms are far from the affected areas, but third-party testing is really the only way to guarantee safety. Some companies actually cut their matcha with fillers like ground up stems and old leaves, which increase the risk of contamination. And also matcha from China is going to have looser regulations. It may be more likely to be contaminated from soil pollution. So that's why the testing is just something that is really a non-negotiable for me. So some brands that I really love, I do love Peak. They are for sure on the pricier side. Another one that I love is Matcha Matcha. I'll put the link to that one. That's the one I drink every day. And then Dr. Andrew Weil's matcha.com. But again, just always check for organic, shade-grown, ceremonial grade matcha. Wrapping up, matcha is one of the easiest, most effective ways to support glowing skin from the inside out. I'm going to start doing a lot more skin food highlights, and I figured this was a perfect one to start with. I love to drink it daily for its antioxidant boost, for the liver support, the cortisol balance. I love to use it in skincare to reduce redness, to brighten the skin. And just make sure that you're buying high quality matcha so that you're actually getting all of those benefits. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend who needs a skin supporting ritual in their life. And if you try matcha in your skincare, DM me because I would love to hear about it, or post it on Instagram and tag me so I can see it. All right, I will be back next time. And until then, be well. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you like what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels @stratumaesthetics.